We asked, and you responded.
We're sorry we're not home right now. We thank you for your call. We are such merry people. We love you one and all. Please leave your name and phone number. We'll call you back with luck. But if you should hang up too soon, go take a flying.
Hi, sorry I missed you. Just leave a message.
Operators are standing by. Call now.
Oh, I'm sorry. You caught me humming the theme song of my show. Avast and ahoy, everyone! This is Erik Sprowls, Captain Calico Drake himself, and this is The Pirate's Booty, the official Aftershow and podcast for Dead and Buried Treasures. Hello again, everyone. Here we are, having just watched tonight's most recent episode, One Body Too Many, woo! Starring Jack Haley and Bela Lugosi. Jack Haley, of course, his most notable role, pretty much the only role I'd known him in, was the Tin Man as the Wizard in The Wizard of Oz. And you can definitely see a lot of him in that character in this movie tonight. And of course, Bela Lugosi as the surprise in the movie, almost like a cameo, if you will, if there was such a thing at that time, playing the butler. And of course, in a movie where there's a will reading and the road's washed out and everybody's trapped in a mansion with secret passages and murders, you think Bela Lugosi is the one who did it because his most notable role is Dracula, but alas, that ain't true. So, as we just discovered, it was not true at all. There was somebody else that was committed the murder in the movie. So, tonight we have a monster show for you. It's an what was that term that they used in the 90s when you'd watch Friends and they wanted to elongate it, or Seinfeld, supersized. That was it. Like tonight's a supersized after show. We have an hour and a half for you because we have an interview tonight with Nick Callis, the new host of our pre-show, Walk the Plank, will be joining us. And Nick is also in his other dual identity. He is one of the hosts on 93.7 The Fan that talks about Pittsburgh sports. Pittsburgh Pirates, Pittsburgh Steelers, Pittsburgh Penguins, and of course we love to have him as the host here on the show. And Nick will join us later on the show to talk about his life and whatnot. But for the first half hour, 45 minutes, we're going to get to some voicemails and hear what you had to say about tonight's show, the movie, what we're doing in our mythology, and progress from there. Tonight's show is sponsored by Redbubble, where you can get all of your official merchandise for Dead and Buried Treasures. We were hacked last month, but that's all over. We're getting some new artwork created as we speak. I spoke to a couple of different caricaturists who are preparing some artwork for me to see, or for us to see how it looks, in the hopes of getting some new blood on there, because we pretty much lost all of our large designs when we were hacked. And of course, our very talented artist, Rich Kanji, did not have any of the masters. They were all online. So the villains got away with it, those sons of blankety blanks. But we won't dwell on that. So that's where you can get your official merchandise from the show. And also we're sponsored tonight by Phoenix Comics and Toys, the official fan club of Dead and Buried Treasures. And we have some other news for you tonight. If you didn't hear during the pre-show, the fan club has a premium fan club membership and a more affordable fan club membership. But we'll get into that as the evening goes on. I don't know I keep clearing my throat tonight, man. What's going on? What is it? What's going on? Is it something in the air here? I don't know, but it's driving me nuts. Anyway, we want to get to our expanded show tonight, and we want to leave we have some time at the end for Nick to join us. So We are going to get right. We're going to get right into the calls. Is that how you want to play it? Yeah, that's fine. What are you doing in the other room? Is that the radio I hear in there? Are you listening to the radio? How about listening to my show, man? What? Right. Yeah. Well. Okay. I get it. You want to get the Penguin scores? I know. I think that's fine because this will air at different times, so we want to talk about real time. So that you want to get the Penguin score. I get it. All right. I understand. I see where your priorities lie. Then in the meantime, let's find out about filtering the air in here. I'm dying. I don't know what it is. I can't keep clearing my throat. I feel like that. Was it MC Hammer said, "Let me clear my throat"? Oh yeah, I'm very old school. You knew that. Okay, well, let's get to our first call tonight so we can get things going. We just finished watching tonight's show, One Body Too Many. We have a filled. Am I looking at that whole phone tree is like filled, right? That whole phone line thing. Yeah, so there's not one empty space on there. Well, we're back. We had a summer break. We tried to reevaluate things and do things a little differently so we can crank out more episodes. It's a long story, but we had only done 2 in the spring. And we kept getting caught up with different problems, and that was holding us back, and writing issues. And I said, let's just treat this like a TV show. And I pulled the trigger over the summer and said, let's take the summer off. I want to get the shows written. Everybody has a break, and then we start in the fall. And that's exactly what we've done. And hopefully it will work and we'll get more shows done. So we're going to try that and see what happens. So let's get to our first call tonight. Who is this from? Oh, okay. This is Phil from Uniontown, who I guess is just now getting done with the show and is wanting to talk to us here on the Pirate's Booty. Phil, how's things in Uniontown?
Yeah, my name is Phil, and I'm just calling to say I enjoy watching the Captain.
Thank you.
On the weekends, in the weekend evenings, I watch it on Armstrong, and it brings back a lot of good memories because when I was growing up, I used to watch Chilly Billy on Chiller Theater, and this is a lot like that. So
yeah,
keep it up. Good job, guys.
Well, thank you very much, Phil. I appreciate the feedback on that. Of course, it's like that line on Friends that Phoebe said many, many moons ago when she said, "Everybody will believe anything you have to say as long as it's a compliment." So, but I'm glad you watched. I'm glad you like the show. And I get a feeling that you just joined us. Like we've been on for a few years, and we pick up people as we go. Lots of steam. And I myself remember watching Chilly Billy when I was a kid. He mesmerized us here in the Pittsburgh area every Saturday night at 11:30. And that shows how old I was a kid at that time, a very wee kid at that time. And he would host it on Channel 11, which was WIIC at that time, that soon became WPXI. And then when Saturday Night Live came along, they decided to move the show till 1 a.m. so they could get Saturday Night Live on the air. But we, the funny thing, a little bit of nostalgia. Now, I'm going to tell you out there. Chevy Chase never had a live episode of Saturday Night Live in Pittsburgh. You know why? Because Channel 11 at the time had this chiller theater that was so successful and so well known and so amazing at the time, because it was horror hosting at the time. That was very hot stuff in the 70s. That Channel 11 said, we don't need it. We don't need this Saturday Night Live show, whatever it is, from New York, because that was brand new at the time. And for the first couple of years, it was never aired here in Pittsburgh. And eventually, Chilly Billy, Bill Cardille said, well, that's fine. We'll just move to 1 o'clock in the morning. It's creepier at that time anyway. So he made that move and then stayed on until the 80s. So I appreciate the comparison to Chilly Billy. I really do. I thought that was kind of nice. And, well, we aims to please. 412-691-3803 is the number for WDBT Radio. That's the Pirate's Booty, the official after show and podcast. This next call comes from Columbia, Tennessee. Is that correct? Columbia, Tennessee. Okay, well, what's going on in Columbia, Tennessee tonight?
Yes, this is Eddie Sprowls. I'm from Tennessee. I'm watching you on England. I love the show. Keep up the good work, and I love the Vincent Price movie.
Oh, well, thank you very much. Sounds like this call's coming from someone watching us on Tingler Television. Nice to have you on board.
Tonight, thanks.
Sure, absolutely. I like those kind of phone calls. Like I said, it's a compliment, not really too in-depth or anything. Not bad. He said he was watching us on Tingler Television. Right, so that's kind of nice. I guess typically we're on Tingler Television regularly now. It's our newest network, Sunday afternoons, which would be, at the time of this particular taping, in our studio late on Friday night. This is early Saturday morning where we're taping this here in Pittsburgh. Tingler Television is on tomorrow. That's Sunday afternoon at 2 o'clock with a pre-show at 1:30, and then they do an encore show at midnight Sunday night. So he watches us there, apparently likes us, and it's nice to have him on board. You know, I don't ever really expect anybody to call me up and say, your show sucks. Yeah, I'm like, no one ever calls in to say we suck, and that's kind of the nice thing, because I listen to, later on tonight, we're going to have Nick Callis as our guest, and because we're going to expand the show tonight as a special an hour and a half instead of just an hour, and, I see people call in on his station, The Fan, in Pittsburgh, and I don't think they really disagree with him, but there's other announcers on there that, man, they rip apart. And they like to argue and fight on there. And I don't think we've ever had to really do that on here. There's not been a real need for it. We don't really argue about anything. So that's probably a good thing, right? Right, yeah. This next call, WTBT Radio, The Pirate's Booty. That's 412-691-3803. 412-691-3803. This next call comes from Stephanie from Connellsville, Pennsylvania. How are things in Connellsville, Stephanie?
Good evening, Captain. Are you there?
Yeah, I'm here. Go ahead.
Oh, okay. Thanks for having me on the show. First time caller.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so I'm a big horror movie fan, an even bigger fan of your show. And I love how you have a story that runs along with the movie.
Oh, thank you.
And I also want to congratulate you on the Rondo Awards for 2023.
Oh, yeah, the Rondos. Back in the spring, we didn't win a Rondo, but we finished with an honorable mention. And I don't mind finishing the way we did either, Stephanie, because 3 national horror host shows beat us, which was Svengoolie out of Chicago, Elvira, that everybody knows Elvira, Mistress of the Night or whatever she does. She's been around for years. And Joe Bob Briggs of Mystery Science Theater. 3 national shows, but then came the honorable mentions, and that was us. So I don't mind coming in 4th to those 3 national networks because everybody knows who they are. So when you have a regional affiliate like us with a few national venues, I don't mind coming in like that. So thank you. I appreciate that.
Right. So let me get this straight. It's a little confusing,
Okay.
Svengoolie came in first.
Right.
Elvira came in second.
Yeah.
Joe Bob Briggs came in third.
That's right.
And then came the honorable mentions, is that right?
Yes, that is right. We came in 4th.
Did you come in 4th?
Yes.
Oh, I see.
Yep.
Well, that's still very cool to come in 4th.
Yeah.
Place for honorable mention next to those 3 because everybody in 4 knows those guys.
Right, and Elvira has been around for a number of years. I don't know how many people entered the Rondo Awards, but I know that there were over 7,000 responses. And the Rondo Awards, of course, is what we like to refer to as the Oscars of horror. Yeah.
And that's why my husband and I and our children are members of the fan club because we love to use your decoder and decode all of the pirate messages you put up there. And we even won 3 weeks ago.
Oh.
That's always a lot of fun. So, congratulations on your show and keep it coming. it's always so much fun.
Yeah, I'm glad you watched the show. And I'm glad you're members of the fan club. You know, coming up later, we have some news about that because we also have another way people can become members of our fan club. But it's nice to have you on board. Thank you very much.
Oh, we watch on the Armstrong Neighborhood Channel in Connellsville, Pennsylvania.
Oh, ANC. Yeah, down in Connellsville, Pennsylvania. Yeah, I think that's channel 20, channel 100. Yeah.
I guess we're a little far behind as the shows, but we saw the new one tonight with the screen contest, so we sent in our entry and we have our fingers crossed. So,
oh, yeah.
Congratulations again, and you have friends here in Pennsylvania.
Oh, thank you. That was so sweet, and it's nice to have you on board, Stephanie. I appreciate that. Yeah, it sounds like they were watching from ANC TV. That's channel 20 and channel 100 in the Connellsville, Pennsylvania area. And they're a new affiliate for our show here in Pennsylvania. And she's right, they are a little bit behind because we started the show brand new down there. It's brand new to them, but if we showed it on our flagship station here, it would be a rerun. So they're just getting on board. I think we've aired, 7 episodes down there so far? Out of all the ones we've ever done in the last several years? Yeah, so they're back on... I think they were back on like I Bury the Living and Chopping Mall and Dementia 13, right? Yeah, I think that's what they're on. So they're a little bit behind. But she said they were watching the Scream stuff. Did they somehow get one of our newer shows back in April? I don't know the answer to that. I mean, that is... That's when we did a movie I directed in college, Middle Toe of the Right Foot, because she mentioned Scream, so we gave away tickets, we gave away the movie Scream on Vudu to call in on that one. Right. So maybe somehow they were watching that, or they were watching it from the area, whatever the case might be. But thank you, Stephanie. We like to have friends in Pennsylvania. 412-691-3803 is the number for the Pirates Booty, the official after show and podcast for Dead and Buried Treasures. This next call is coming from Paul from State College, Pennsylvania. Hello, Paul. How are things at State College tonight?
Hey, good evening, Captain Drake.
Good evening.
Permission to come aboard.
Glad to have you.
Thank you.
You're welcome, yes.
I got a hold of one of your newsletters, and I thought it was really high-quality stuff.
Oh, thank you.
Is there any way to subscribe to that?
Yes, I'm glad you asked. In fact, we could do a little segue right now. The newsletter comes with the fan club through Phoenix Comics and Toys. But with that fan club membership, you also get the decoder statue, the pirate decoder, which is me. And if you can, it's like a decoder, secret messages, and I'll put out secret messages during the show. And God Almighty, sorry about that. I'll put out secret messages during the show, and people can decode the messages at home. And if you get the right answer, the first one that gets it wins prizes and things of that nature. Well, that's our premium fan club, and it's pretty expensive. It's like $70 membership, and you get the decoder statue, you get like the doubloon, you get the quarterly newsletter, you get the 8x10 sign of Calico, myself, and Jack, and blah blah blah, and all this stuff. So the last few months, I've been getting some questions from viewers like yourself saying, is there a cheaper fan club or a way to do something cheaper to still be part of it? So for $20, you can subscribe to the newsletter alone. And that, you just drop us an email at deadandburiedtreasures@yahoo.com. And we can hook you up with that. We can tell you how to do that. So some people, and I don't want to shortchange Phoenix Comics and Toys, because they have a wonderful decoder statue, wonderfully created and designed by Rob Fleck. And I'm not telling anyone not to get that, because he's done a wonderful job on that. And he does other decoder statue holiday variants, like the Santa Drake one that comes out at Christmas that you can get if you watch the show tonight, and the 4th of July one, the patriotic pirate decoder. And there's different variants of that. So those are really spectacular and collector's items from what I understand now. But I think they're going to open up the lines for more for Christmas ones again, the Santa Drake one now. That being said, some people can't afford to do that, so they requested a cheaper alternative. So I think it's a $20 lifetime membership, and you get our newsletter as long as the show's on the airwaves. It comes out 4 times a year, and inside there's exclusive interviews and pictures of behind the scenes and all the latest stuff on the show that you can't get on our Facebook page. You can't really get on Walk the Plank or the Pirates Booty. It's an exclusive, really, to our fan club. That's not the premium fan club, it's the cheaper one. So you can either become a member of the fan club through the $60 or $70 variant, where you get the Dakota statue, really, through Phoenix Comics and Toys, or you can drop us a letter at deadandburiedtreasures@yahoo.com to get the fan club newsletter there. And, it's the same thing. You're fan club members for life. So, yes, there is an alternative to that, to my really long answer.
Oh, I see.
Yes.
Phoenix Comics and Toys.
Yes.
That's true. Etsy, right?
Yeah, that's through Etsy, not eBay. A lot of people write me and say, is that through Etsy or eBay? I'm like, no, it's through Etsy. So yes, Phoenix Comics and Toys through Etsy. Yes.
Okay, I'll have to check it out.
Yeah.
Is that the only way to get involved with the fan club? Like, is it possible to call them with a credit card number, or maybe send them a check?
Well, I'm old school myself. Sometimes when it comes with a credit card or a check, that kind of thing. But I think I've suggested that to Rob Fleck, who's really the GM of Phoenix Comics and Toys. And I said, listen, I have people that want to do this stuff, but they don't want to they're not involved through Etsy and PayPal and Venmo. They're like old school check and money order or credit card. That's a question for them. I'm not a part of that. They kind of manage their own fan club out of there, and they kind of check in with me what's going on down there as far as the fan club's concerned. So as far as the newsletter, I can tell you, you can get it for $20 by writing deadandburiedtreasures@yahoo.com, or it comes with the premium fan club order with the Dakota statue through Phoenix Comics and Toys, but I don't think you can write them a check or a credit card. I think you have to deal with Etsy.
Well, I'm pretty computer savvy, but I've never dealt with Etsy before.
Right. That makes 2 of us. I've never dealt with Etsy myself, but I'm learning about it as we go, as technology is ever changing. But I think what you need to do is find a 6-year-old, because I'm pretty sure they'll have an idea. That's how I do it.
Okay.
Yep.
As long as it's like eBay or something like that, I might be able to work with it.
Right.
In any case, another great show tonight.
Thank you very much.
I actually played the trivia contest, so hopefully something might come out of that. I did. Thanks, Captain, for having me aboard, and we'll see you next time.
Yeah, we thank you. I thank you for the call, and I thank you for the kind words. Yeah, our trivia contest was fun tonight. We had a really unique question that I can't reveal the answer to because it was pretty current. But playing the trivia contest is a real thing. You do win prizes through there. Tonight's prize was what? I don't remember. I don't remember what it was. Do you know what it was? Wait, is that the one with the oil change from Midas? What's that? Yeah, I can't remember that one myself, but in any case, I don't want to hold up the things, but I'm glad you played. I'm glad you have a good time. We have some pretty good trivia questions on there. What was the one that I thought was so good a few weeks ago? Oh, it was, one of the trivia questions was, it said, what was this quote from? It's not the house that's haunted, it's your son. Do you know what the answer to that is? What movie that's from? Yeah, that's right. It's from Insidious. Good job. You can tell you watch horror films. Right. Oh, yeah, so we have some pretty good questions on there, so thank you for playing. 412-691-3803 is the number for WDBT Radio, The Pirate's Booty, the official after show and podcast for Dead and Buried Treasures. Up next, we have Tessie from Spokane, Washington. Is that correct? Tessie from Spokane, Washington. Tessie, how's things going?
Ahoy, Captain Drake. Thanks for taking my call.
You're welcome.
Yes, Spokane, Washington. I'm calling from the West Coast. I saw your broadcast tonight on DBTV. That's such a great channel.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, I like to watch it there rather than on Facebook or YouTube because it's real television, you know. I know that sounds weird, but I don't like to do the social media thing anymore. But ever since they started charging on YouTube, I've never been a big fan and quit watching YouTube. Actually, so it's nice to see you somewhere else as an alternative.
Yeah, I like that too. There's 4 national networks that carry us, not counting Facebook or YouTube. That would be Tingler Television, which is our newest, and we're seen there on Sundays at 2, as I said before. Sunday after, it's like a nice Sunday afternoon movie. You know, with the kids. You know, you watch the kids on a lazy Sunday, and then after that's over, eat some dinner, and you know that's kind of fun. And then we have ourselves on The Vortex, which is called the Home for Horror Hosts. At the Vortex at www.horrorhost.net. That's a nice television network run by Sluggo. Cheap plug. And then, of course, you can find us on the Monster Channel, and that's on periodically as well. At least once or twice a month on there as a special. Generally, we're on Wednesday nights, at least once a month on the Vortex, and then I think the Monster Channel is more variant. They air it at different times. And then our 4th channel, of course, one of our favorites is DBTV. And if you don't get DBTV in your viewing area, they stream the entire channel at www.dbtv.tv. That's .tv, not .com. dbtv.tv. And my God, they are around the world. They're in like 60 or 80 different countries and coast to coast here in the States. And they stream us on midnight on Friday and Saturday nights with an 11:30 pre-show. Now, they've had a couple of instances in the past where the pre-show didn't get on at 11:30 because they've had I'm told they're making some deals with Paramount, and we don't have a say in that. So they try to get us on typically in our typical time slot, which will be Friday and Saturday nights at midnight with an 11:30 pre-show. So yes, I love DBTV. I can't say enough good things about that network. So, yeah.
Well, I really enjoyed your interview tonight with Elizabeth Banks. I just love her. I've always admired her work and had no idea she was a director. I mean, really, she's just multi-talented. Did she really direct Cocaine Bear?
Yeah, it sounds like you were watching from, that would have been, what? That would have been, Hangar 18. So you would have been watching from, I think, MCA, well, you're in Spokane, so they had to have showed Hangar 18. Yeah, so they showed that on DBTV. Yeah, so she really did direct Cocaine Bear, and she is a personal heartthrob of mine. I thought she is just a talented, multi-talented, multifaceted, beautiful woman, and I'm in love with Elizabeth Banks. She does so much good work, and I thought Cocaine Bear was kind of a fun horror film. Yeah.
Well, I saw it in the theater last week, and I absolutely loved it. It was kind of cool because we went and saw it Saturday afternoon, and just as soon as we got home, we turned on your show, and it had all the behind-the-scenes stuff, which I totally love, and, about how they made the movie and her interview. It's really, really fun, and it was really neat to watch, especially for my whole family.
Yeah, it's, I don't know about a whole family film. I guess it wasn't really too bad. It was, Jaws, I think, would be much worse. But, yeah, we hosted Hangar 18, but we also had a sponsor that night for Cocaine Bear, and I think our other sponsor for that show was Ant-Man Quantumania. And so we had her on the show. She told us a lot of behind-the-scenes tricks and secrets to making Cocaine Bear, and it's not her first rodeo when it comes to horror. She's made a lot of other good horror films and a lot of fun horror films, and she took her first shot, I believe, at directing. So yeah, I thought Cocaine Bear turned out pretty. What'd you think? Yeah, I thought it turned out to be a pretty good film overall. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, the kids are old enough that we have fun going to horror movies and munching on popcorn, watching them. And then we come home and watch your show. It's really a great, fun family night, for all of us.
Yeah, it's a nice, when you get to do the whole family involved. I think that's kind of fun night. That's why we do the show here. I get to do some old monster movies and have fun and some laughs at the same time. So it's always a good time.
Well, my question was, I was wondering if you're going to do any more shows like this one with lots of trivia and behind the scenes of different horror films and stuff.
Yes. Yes. We had to do I feel like I'm stuttering here. Let me tell you what the plan is. During the regular television viewing season, which is fall and spring, we're going to do some pretty normal episodes, and we're going to save the sponsorship episodes for the summer. There's a lot of movie blockbusters out at that time, and if we do any at all over the summer, because I'm going to be writing at that time, they're going to be sponsored, where we can give away prizes and really utilize more behind-the-scenes stuff regarding summer blockbusters. So yes, we will be doing that, but it will probably be mostly during the summer.
That actually sounds pretty good.
Yeah.
I was going to drag my kids off to see the new Ghostface movie when it comes out, because I grew up with that, and it's a lot of fun going from generation to generation with the horror film. It's like Halloween, you start way back in the day, and then you keep going forward. It's so fun. I'm really glad that they have a big franchise for Scream.
Yeah, and we actually hosted Scream 6 when we did the movie Middle Toe of the Right Foot back in the spring. And there's another Scream movie coming out next spring, Scream 7, that I'm hoping I'm told that Nev Campbell will be rejoining the cast again, and hopefully they'll have some kind of closure with Stu, who I thought was going to be the villain in Scream 6, but this will be Scream 7 coming out. So yeah, Ghostface is always welcome on our show.
Yeah, well, I guess so. Well, listen, thank you so much for taking my call, and I'll try and call back in next time, okay?
Yeah, thank you very much. I appreciate the call, and thank you for the kind words. That was Tessie from Spokane, Washington. 412-691-3803 is the number for the Pirates Booty. This next phone call, we're rushing through them tonight because we have an interview coming up with Nick Callis that you'll want to hang around for. He's going to talk about his life getting involved with the show. He's not a big fan of monster movies, as I'm told. And Nick, but he is a very good radio announcer. He is one of the hosts at 93.7 The Fan in Pittsburgh, and works with a lot of Pittsburgh sports celebrities: Andrew Filipponi, Chris Muller, Ron Cook, the whole bit over there. And he works mornings. He has a morning show sometimes. He's on in the morning. He does it all at the Fan. So he also does it all here for our pre-show and helps us put together a wonderful show. And as you saw earlier tonight on our pre-show, he actually did a story on Angelo's 2 in, I think it's Charleroi. Is it Charleroi? Yeah, I think it's Charleroi, Monongahela, PA, where every year they turn this Italian restaurant into this gigantic Ghostbusters display with gigantic Slimer balloon and the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man. And if you watched our pre-show earlier tonight, you'll want to check out that restaurant. They do it every Halloween, and it always is a spectacle. 412-691-3803 is the number for WDBT Radio. That's the Pirates Booty. So yes, please stay tuned. An interview with Nick Callis is coming up in just about 10 minutes. Next, we have Tom from Reno, Nevada, who wants to say a few words. Tom, what's going on in Reno tonight?
Hello. Good evening, Captain Drake.
Good evening. How are you, Tom?
Hey, thank you for taking my call.
You bet. Anytime, Tom.
I was wondering what's going on with throwing these episodes out of order.
Explain. Showing the episodes out of order?
We were were really waiting for the conclusion to that great cliffhanger back in September. And then you did a Halloween show and a Christmas show, I think.
Oh.
Yeah, a Christmas show.
Yeah, you're referring to the cliffhanger we had during The Last Man on Earth, I think.
And now this show with the Cocaine Bear and Hitman.
Yeah, okay. Well, when you say this show, it depends on where you were watching the show tonight. See, I wish I could say when we do an episode or a new show, it's on all of our affiliates all at once. However, we pick up new networks as we go, and for example, what they're watching in downtown Pittsburgh may not be what they're watching on our national network, or what they're watching on the Monster Channel may not be what they're watching on PCTV downtown, or BPTV, our flagship station. In fact, we're picking up another new network that I just found out today. Well, it's not official, it's unofficial right now, but there's a good chance we'll be picking up MMTV Channel 21 in Monroeville, Pennsylvania. So there'll be another network that'll be starting from scratch. So they'll be watching episode 1 when we're on the most recent episode, which is 5 years down the pike. So some of the episodes are shown out of order. Depends on where you're watching it from.
I got a question.
Okay.
I was wondering if you're ever going to wrap up that storyline or just leave us hanging, leave it unsolved.
No, we are wrapping it up right now. I've had a lot of feedback about that. We had an episode when we hosted The Last Man on Earth, and we've been kind of hyping a battle between the bad guys and Captain Drake and the Swashbuckler's Haunt and that evil pirate ship. We don't even know who he is. And we're about to give him reveal a whole bunch of stuff in the next 4 episodes. So we have a 4-episode arc in our mythology where we're going to try to find out who the bad guy is, what happened in that cliffhanger. And as you're learning tonight, the cliffhanger was resolved, and there was a battle, and Captain Drake and company lost. Now, you as a viewer are probably sitting there like, well, when was that episode? When did that happen? I didn't see that. When was that battle? Well, we're unfolding the story as though the battle took place off screen. And if you think of yourself as a member of Drake's crew, you'll get it. Because you're just as brainwashed as Drake and Jack and the rest of the crew. Apparently, off screen, that nobody saw, the battle took place. Drake and company lost. They were captured by the bad guy and brainwashed to believe that it never took place, put back on the haunt, and the villain, for reasons undisclosed as of yet, is awaiting to awake the captain to do something evil. Now, Calypso revealed tonight that Drake and his crew would kill each other eventually after the villain follows them to the island of dead and buried treasures because they're no longer useful. After he leads them to the island and he finds out where the island of dead and buried treasures is, he has no use for Captain Drake and crew. He'll let them kill each other. That's the plan, the evil plan. Ultimately, you're led to believe the villain captured them, brainwashed them, and now he's going to use them to find the island of dead and buried treasures. So Drake and company, Jack, Davy Bones, everybody, Gertie, nobody remembers the battle because they were brainwashed to believe it never took place. So I know it sounds complicated, but it really isn't. Now, on the other hand, there are 2 sides to every story. You've heard the villain's POV, point of view. He's won the war, he took them to the island, brainwashed them, they don't even know a battle happened. Now, on the other hand, from Drake's POV and the crew's POV, their point of view, it's an entirely different understanding. You're learning, like he is, that the battle took place off screen, and he's like, what are you talking about? We weren't in any battle. And when Calypso makes him remember, he's like, all of a sudden I'm like, yeah, I remember. We came upon this ship, and then I don't remember anything else. And Calypso fills in the holes by saying, that's because you lost the battle, he captured you, brainwashed you, you don't remember any of it. So it's almost like you're waking up with Captain Drake. And you're like, well, what battle? Well, I don't remember that episode. Of course you don't. And Calypso filled on the plot details, and now you're caught up. So now Calypso says tonight, I'm going to send you back to win that battle. Because that was like, months and months and months ago. And you have to win this battle, because if the villain follows you to the island of dead and buried treasures, he will awake anything that can be created in the movies that will do his bidding. And she goes on to say, the Empire from Star Wars, imagine if that was real. And he creates it through the island to take over the world, or, brings back Darth Vader, or a lightsaber, or King Kong, or Godzilla. Anything in the movies the island can create. So Calypso's here to say, Drake, you need to stop that from happening. I'm sending you back in time to that battle that you lost, because you need to win it. And Drake's just as clueless as anybody. He can't remember anything about it. So I'm going to send you back in time to the moment where you were bearing down on this ship just before the battle, and you're going to have to change some things to win. And you have to win, is what she tells him, because if you don't, the alternative is not pretty for not just you, but the world. Can you imagine the Empire, the Galactic Empire, taking over, and the Klingons helping along? I mean, anything in movies can be created from this island. So, yes, we are resolving that cliffhanger in the next 4-episode arc. So make sure you stay tuned. If the movies will contain what you saw tonight, One Body Too Many, and then the movie next month will be Fangs of the Living Dead. The movie after that will be Sisters of Death, and the movie after that will be How Awful About Alan with Anthony Perkins. Watch those 4 movies and you'll have a lot more clarity about what's going on in that arc. 412-691-3803 is the number. The WDBT radio, the Pirates Booty. This next call is coming from Gordon from Pittsburgh, who had a question about the spy storyline. Yes, there is a spy on board, and everybody's wondering who it is and what's going on. And we elaborated a little bit on it tonight, but here's a little bit more. Hello, Gordon.
Good evening, Captain.
Good evening.
Long-time viewer. I was watching your show tonight, and I hope that this is not what you were going to do. But it was your latest show with One Body Too Many.
Uh-huh.
I've been watching now for a couple of years, and I saw that you have a spy on board the ship, and I really liked that storyline and the direction it was going. And then tonight, when you encountered the character of Calypso, she said you were the double agent. And I hope that wasn't some way to back yourself out of a corner.
No. That was just a play on words. We said it on the show, but take my word for it, I'm not the spy. She said, well, you just as well might be, because he had brainwashed you. You're doing everything to his bidding, and you're a sleeper agent. We got to wake you up or do something, so we're going to turn you back in time to fix things before any of that happens.
Because I was hoping it was going to be kind of something else, and that's not the direction I thought you were going to go.
No.
So I'm going to hang up, and I'm going to listen to your call. I just wanted to ask if is that storyline now resolved, or is that something to throw us off the trail, or is that what you intended to do? Because I was kind of hoping for a little bit more. Thank you. I'll hang up and I'll listen to your call.
Sure. Thank you for the call. No, the storyline is not resolved. There's a lot more to that, so stay tuned. I am not the spy. There is a spy somewhere in Drake's life, and you're going to find out who that is during the progression of the next arc of 4 episodes or so. Well, you may not find out who it is, but you'll get a lot more information as to who it might be. We're leaving lots of clues. It's a fun storyline. I've had a lot of feedback as to which one of Drake's friends is a turncoat, really. And that's what it's kind of coming down to. 412-691-3803. Coming up in the next part of our show, we have Nick Callis, the host of the pre-show Walk the Plank. But for right now, we have Patricia from Springdale, Tennessee. And she has a question about the movie Hangar 18 that we watched, I guess, unless she watched it on our network, on somewhere she watched it along the lines. Patricia, how are you tonight?
Eric. It's
Hi.
Patricia calling from Springdale, Tennessee again.
Nice to see you again, Patricia. You're always welcome on the Pirate's Booty.
Thank you. It's always great to hear yours as well.
Yeah.
We were just wondering how you select the movies you have on your channel. Not the sponsors, but the movies that you host.
Well, they have to be public domain. And there's no question about that. They absolutely have to be public domain. And that being said, if they're not, we don't use them. We want to have a contained package. And if we have a movie on the show that's not public domain that we have the permission to use, that's fine. But when we put the show on the air, we want to show it in reruns. So we have to have the rights to the movie for that exclusivity. And if we can't get it, then we probably might not host it. So we like to do movies that are public domain, no question about that. And then we like to do movies that are really unheard of or no one's really heard of before, because it's almost like having an original on the show. So that's why we select them the way that we do.
Well, we grew up with Hangar 18, but actually forgot about it. Mm-hmm. My husband loves Darren McGavin from The Night Stalker.
Oh, me too.
It's one of his favorite shows, and you can't find it any longer anywhere except on DVD.
Yeah, The Night Stalker was one of my favorites as a kid, and I absolutely love Darren McGavin. I've seen a lot of movies with him in there, and he always does a wonderful job, whether it's Kolchak on The Night Stalker, or he was in Airport 77. He was really good in that. He's just good at just about everything he does, and I loved him in Hangar 18. I thought that was a great movie.
Oh, you can see it on MTV?
Yeah, it was on. It's been on there before, but you can see it on all of our networks. So that's why it's important to. It's a great movie, and you can see it on just about any network that we had the show on. Yes.
Oh, MeTV, got it.
Right. Well, MeTV.
Great movie, and I'll pass that on to my husband because he's one of his favorite actors.
Yes. I'm sorry. I thought you meant the show. Kolchak, The Night Stalker, you can see on MeTV. Not MTV, but MeTV. And that's also the same network you can see Svengoolie, the horror host from Chicago. So yes, that's a good channel to watch.
We can't wait till next month, so we'll tune in then.
All right, well then we'll see you then, Patricia. Nice talking to you. You're always welcome to call in the Pirate's Booty. 412-691-3803. Our next phone call is from Tom, who is from Chicago and is a relocated Pittsburgher in Chicago. Good evening, Tom. How are you tonight? Glad to have you on board.
Hey there, Captain. This is Tom from Chicago calling.
Absolutely. Good to have you.
Appreciate you taking my call.
Mm-hmm.
It's been a while since I talked to you guys, but
yeah.
I really appreciate it. I was wondering if you guys were going to any horror conventions this year. I know last year you were talking about attending more cons like Steel City and whatnot. And I was wondering if you had any plans yet.
We do. That's a good point. We have plans, and we hope they come to fruition. I'm talking to several caricaturist artists about designing convention t-shirts for us, because if we have a table at a convention, we want to be able to market something. And we just don't want to sit at a table and be like, how you doing? So, yes, we do have plans. Of course, we had plans to do it this year, but they fell through when we lost our artistry. But we are trying to get a new artist on board to design some new designs, and hopefully we'll get to attend a couple of conventions in the future. We'd love to go to the Monster Bash, or Steel City Con, or Horror Hound, or Cinema Wasteland, or Monster Fest, or Gross Fest, or even Yinzer Con. I'd love to do that because it's a convention in Pittsburgh with Pittsburgh celebrities. So, yeah, we're up for anything. Absolutely.
Were you at Horror Realm last weekend?
Oh, yeah, we did go to Horror Realm because we shot an episode of the show there. It was the one we hosted the movie Middle Toe of the Right Foot. We were definitely there. Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't see you, man.
Yeah, that's okay. But we were there. Absolutely.
Oh, that explains it. I was there all day Saturday. Were you planning to attend anything else? Maybe Steel City Con?
Well, not in December. There's one coming up now that has Kiefer Sutherland and Alec Baldwin and even Sam Raimi. We're not going to attend that one. I will be there walking around, but I won't have a table there, or the show won't actually have a table yet.
Hey, will you be keeping people appraised somehow and letting us know as to where you guys are going? I'd really love to meet you in person.
Sure, I'd love to meet you too. I can't tell you how many requests people want to meet us. I will say this: we do attend the Whiskey Rebellion in Washington regularly and walk around. In fact, we did a whole FaceTime show this past summer in July on that, and we attend the Renaissance Festival in Pittsburgh too. So come on out and meet us there. We just haven't had a table yet at a convention, but we will in 2024 at some point.
All right. Hey, you guys have a good day, all right?
You do the same.
I really enjoy your work. Enjoy the movies. I'll talk to you soon.
Thank you for the phone call, Tom. It was nice talking to you as well. 412-691-3803 is the number. You're listening to The Pirate's Booty, the official after show and podcast for Dead and Buried Treasures. Coming up in the next part of our show, we're an expanded supersized edition tonight. We're going to be having Nick Callis, from your host for Walk the Plank, who talks about the show with moi, to have like a kind of a countdown of when the show's coming on. Up next, we have Frank from New Haven, Connecticut, who has a question about the Rondo Awards. Hello, Frank. How are you tonight?
Good evening, Eric.
Good evening.
I see that you posted on your Facebook page that you made the ballot to this year's Rondo Awards. Congratulations.
Well, we didn't also just make the ballot. We also got an honorable mention as an end result. So that's just the same thing as kind of winning it. You know, it's like they say, it's an honor to be nominated. Doesn't matter who wins.
Well, congratulations.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Well deserved.
Thank you.
Your show looks amazing. It really does make the competition look like they're just in slow motion.
Oh, look at you, my ego. Look at my head swelling up. Thank you much, Frank.
Now, correct me if I'm wrong, but those Rondo Awards, it's like the official movies of horror, right?
Yeah.
Not just horror hosts.
Yeah, well, it's not. The Rondo Awards are anything horror. Movies, TV, magazines, articles, Blu-rays, DVDs, commentaries. They give out multiple awards for that, and one category is your favorite horror host. And unfortunately, it's designed like a popularity contest, and I just don't see us ever beating Elvira or Mystery Science Theater or Joe Bob Briggs or Sven Gulli, because they're all big, widely known national horror hosts that have been around since the dawn of time. Maybe one day when we get that big, but it's like I said, for right now, it's just an honor to be nominated.
Well, that's just amazing, Captain. Yeah. I'll let you go, but keep up the good work, because we'll be tuning in as long as you're on the air.
Well, thank you. Thank you, Frank. Kind words. I always love some kind words. Thank you so much. It's much appreciated. 412-691-3803 is the number to talk to me. I am Erik Sprowls. I play Captain Calico Drake on Dead and Buried Treasures. This next call comes from Harrisburg. Harrisburg. How are you, Harrisburg?
Good evening, Captain Drake.
Good evening.
The prior caller kind of stole my thunder. That's why I was calling, because I'm a big fan of horror, of the horror community, and I even do what you do on YouTube as a horror host.
Oh.
And I saw how you did in this year's Rondos. Congratulations.
Thank you very much. It's always nice to meet a fellow horror host.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sure. Is that better?
Yeah. Well, we can hear you. Yeah.
Oh, I watch on CUTV in Fayette County, south of Pittsburgh, on the university's television station.
Oh, I'm very aware of CUTV.
Now, correct me if I'm wrong, because I'm kind of an old timer. The movie you hosted tonight, The Middle Toe of the Right Foot, did you also direct that?
Well, yes. CUTV tonight in Fayette and Washington counties, just south of Pittsburgh. That's what they showed this weekend, which was The Middle Toe of the Right Foot. Our newest episode on our flagship station, BP-TV, was One Body Too Many. So I'm just letting everybody know. Sometimes we get phone calls from all of the different affiliates, so that was one of them. Yes, I directed that in my college days at California University, by the way. I directed a movie called The Middle Toe of the Right Foot, which was based on a short story by Ambrose Bierce. So yes, that was me, and that is the movie I directed, and we showed it tonight on on the show at CUTV. Yes, thank you.
I thought so. Well, I just found out that the story was fascinating.
Thank you.
It was more suspenseful and kind of a ghost story. It reminded me a little bit of Alfred Hitchcock in the way that it unfolded.
Oh, well, yes. I remember at the time when I worked down there, I actually worked there after I had graduated. The boss of the television station that I worked for down there said to me when I was directing, he says, why don't you have like blood splatter on the wall when the girl gets killed? I said, I don't like that. I don't like the gore. I like the suspense. There's different types of horror. I like suspenseful horror. He likes the special effects with the blood and the gore and the blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, I don't think there's a reason for that. So yes, I'm glad you said that, because I remember having an argument in his office about that once. And I said, I'm Hitchcock. You are the guy that directed Carrie, and I can't remember his name off the top of my head. Isn't that horrible? I'm having like a brain fart. The guy that directed The Shining. I only think of as Ridley Scott. I'll think of it before the end of the show, but it was based on Stephen King. Anyway, he has like gore. Remember the elevators opening in The Shining and all that blood coming down the hallway? I said that's his kind of directing. I said mine is more like Hitchcock with suspense. So thank you. I'll take that as a compliment.
One other question. Did you happen to direct that when you were at California University like 20 years ago or something? Did you go to school there?
Yeah, that's what I just said. I directed when I was at school there.
I thought so, because I thought I thought I had seen it on the TV station before.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's exactly where you saw it, down in California. And that won some awards, too.
That explains a lot. Well, it was just as good tonight as it was then, and I had such a wonderful time watching it. Maybe even next year, you could win the Rondos and knock Sven Naguli off his perch. Because this show is so corny. Same stuff every week with rubber chicken. It's just not good. Well, bless you, Captain.
Well, yeah.
Watch it. What is the movie for next time?
The movie for next time is Fangs of the Living Dead.
Oh, with William Shatner.
No. That we advertised it was going to be Kingdom of the Spiders with William Shatner, but then we had to pull that because we found out that's not public domain, as it was advertised by our sources who said it was. So we're going with Fangs of the Living Dead.
I remember that when I was a kid. Very scary.
Yeah, I thought it was too.
Bless you, sir, and have a good night.
You do the same thing. Thank you for calling. Appreciate it. 412-691-3803. We have time for one last question. This one comes from Tony in Pittsburgh, PA. Okay, right here in our hometown. How you doing, Tony? Glad to have you aboard tonight.
Ahoy, Captain Drake. Permission to come aboard?
Absolutely. Welcome aboard.
Thank you, Captain.
You're welcome.
I was watching tonight's show. One of the best, by the way. I could tell that you guys are getting much better as your special effects keep chugging along, and the scenery and the background, other things looking great. I feel like I'm watching an episode of Once Upon a Time through Disney.
Thank you very much.
About the new girl Gigi.
Mm-hmm.
Or I guess I could call her Calypso, right?
Yes, yeah, you could.
It was a really good mystery that you mixed in with the comedy, and it left me guessing in the end that maybe she's some kind of fortune teller, or at least maybe work one for Captain Drake and Company.
Yeah, you could say that.
Expecting a big battle, but I'm wondering if it's not her. Who is the big bad guy, and she, in fact, is the double agent?
You know, you're not the first person to say that. Some people said, well, maybe she's the double agent. They were watching tonight. I watched it with some friends myself here in the Pittsburgh area when it was on, and they said, is she the double agent? I said, maybe. But I'm going to tell you, she's probably not. And I even had one guy say, well, is she the big bad guy? You know, whoever says the red-hooded person has to be a man. And I said, well, that's true. I said, you got to keep that in mind, too. So that is a good point. Good catch.
But you probably wouldn't tell me if I was right, would you?
No, you're right. I wouldn't.
Gotcha. And I like also how you're adding a bigger cast as well. My kids actually enjoy it and celebrated when your show came back on after the summer. And we had a viewing party with friends, and tonight in our basement, and about a half dozen of them having a Dead and Buried Treasures watch party.
Oh, very cool.
So let the good times roll, Captain, and we'll be watching.
Thank you very much. I'm glad. I'm really impressed when people tell me they have watch parties for the show. That's always nice, because that means we're doing things right and people like to watch and they're gathering their kids, and that's the whole point of the Pirates Booty, the official after show and podcast for Dead and Buried Treasures. I'm Erik Sprowls, your host, and I have some good news for you. Yeah, I got a score check on that Pens game you were talking about. You were wondering about. Yeah, they beat them tonight. They won tonight, 10-1. 10-1. Well, I wouldn't. That's like yelling. Okay, yay! The Steelers are amazing because they keep winning in the fourth quarter, but they suck the rest of the time. It's like, well, here are the Pittsburgh Penguins. They're 3-6, and now they won 10-1, so now they're 4-6. So who knows? Maybe they'll turn it around, but they're not that good a team, dude. Yeah, I mean, it's nice that they won, but I wouldn't get your hopes up, and that was on the road. So, well, maybe they might turn things around. But I have some bad news otherwise. I have to cut things short tonight because I like to blabber along too much. We're gonna have to hold off on our guest until next month. Nick, we're sorry. We're gonna have to get you on next time. This was supposed to be an expanded episode for us that went an hour and a half, but some of the affiliates just can't fit it in their schedule, so we have to cut it short, and we'll have him on next time. Is that correct? Yeah, we'll have Nick on next time, and you can learn everything all about our host of our pre-show, Walk the Plank, Nick Callis, who also moonlights, so to speak, at 93.7 The Fan, and he's on there with his own morning show, sometimes wee early hours in the morning, around 5 o'clock, and he also works with some of the other hosts there, and it does a wonderful job doing that. So we'll have him on the show next month, and we'll get him on then, right? Is that correct? Yeah, so thank you to Nick. Sorry, we'll have to get you on the show next time. We just ran out of time this month. So I want to thank everybody for tonight's show, all the callers that called in. We had a lot of callers tonight. We didn't even get to them all. The lines, I'm looking at the lines still, the lights are still full. I mean, we could go on for another couple hours if we wanted to, but we're going to keep it to an hour tonight, and we'll get Nick on next month. Thank you to everybody that called in. Thank you to my producer here in the studio, Martin Cage. Yeah, Martin. Thank you, Martin. I appreciate it. And we will be back with the Pirates Booty next month with our next episode when we host the movie Fangs of the Living Dead. And it's going to be, I can tell you this, it's going to be a time travel episode, so it's going to be a lot of fun. Captain Drake somehow gets a hold of the Time Turner to see if he can change the outcome of this battle that he has to win no matter what. So it'll be a fun episode. Until next time, stay safe, keep watching the show, keep watching our reruns, and we welcome your calls on the show, our after show, as always. All right? And remember, most importantly, until next time, two things. One, our show is where Halloween is all year long. The only show where it's Halloween all year long. Second, it's a pirate's life for me. We'll see you next time. Take care.
Jeremy Timbers, Captain. Aye.
You pots.
Arr, it's the